Okay, hey guys, so let's talk about the action calendar this week. I posted it on the team page, but you can find this in the Posh box as well. There's a link in it as well. I think it's from Day Away is when it's from. So you'll be able to download like the PDF of it and print it out. And so let me just kind of get it out. But the action calendar is a really, really good tool for you to use just because it will teach you very consistent things that you can be doing each day, month, that kind of stuff. Day, week, monthly, okay? So this is it here. So this is the action calendar. You can print this off. You can use this on the computer. You can use something like this and make up your own Excel sheet if you're more of a digital person. But what it does is it gives you things that you can be doing every day, every week, and every month. This is really important to building consistency into your business because it's very important to stay consistent, and especially to build these habits so that it's not difficult later on when your business is like booming. Especially when you're new, you might not think to do these things, or you might not know to do these things. And so this is a really great reminder to look at and different tool to look at. So I just want to kind of go over it. So the everyday things I do at least 6 days per week is really important that you make sure you check your numbers in your virtual office. If you have a team, be sure that you're checking in with your downline. Make sure that you are helping them see if they're close to hitting their 30-day props, or whatever props that they have. Currently, we as sponsors cannot, or as team leaders, cannot see what our downlines prop deadlines are, but it's not something that is incredibly hard to figure out. You can just put it in and like count the days out, or I actually have an Excel spreadsheet that I just am like, plus 30 days, and so then I just put their start date, and then each column calculates it for me, so I know when their deadline is to meet their props. So make sure that you're helping out your team. If you have anybody in your team downline that you haven't reached out to yet, it's never too late. You can add them as a friend on Facebook. Make sure that they know how to reach you if they need to, so that they don't feel completely lost, right? You don't want somebody to feel like they are alone, because that is not how we work at Posh, right? So make sure that you're checking that. Make sure you're checking your numbers so that you know how close you are to hitting your goals, how close you are to your props if you are new, because in your virtual office at the very bottom of your summary, you will see your props deadlines. So other things that you want to be making sure that you're keeping up on is your social media stuff. If you're going to be using social media to your advantage in building your business, which I highly recommend doing, make sure that you are keeping up with that. Make sure that you are scheduling out posts if you need to, following up with different customers. Like, so if anybody that has requested samples from you, make sure you're following up with them to see how they thought about it, or what they thought about it. Check the team page, check Posh Talk for any updates and announcements and that kind of fun stuff. And then every week, some things that you want to consider is you want to look in at what's happened that week. So what specials are the week? What was the feature of the week, which is this sale item that's every week, right? Check in on your goals. Make sure that everything is up to date. If you are behind on Tuesday training, maybe spend a day each week going through Tuesday trainings. You don't have, obviously there is new stuff posted every Tuesday, but you can always go back and see what you're looking, and refresh your mind, right? Like if you have an event coming up, maybe go to the Posh box, click trainings, and find something on some resource on events. There's a lot of resources in there. Every training has been recorded, so for like a while now, so there's a lot of things there. And then every month, these are the things that I talk to people about a lot, and I just want to make sure that people are paying attention to it, because sharing your why is huge. Make sure that you guys take some time and figure out what your why is. Your why can be something so it doesn't have to be like this deep, like story of my life kind of thing. It can be just that, hey, Posh is something I really thought is fun, and I just want to have fun and I want to meet people. That is totally fine. You know, that's what your why is, and that's okay. If your why has changed, that's okay too. Make sure that you're sharing your why with your business page, your business page, or your VIP group, or or with people that you are talking to. Yeah, so then let's see, check on that stuff, send out samples, make sure that, again, following up with everybody. So if your customer follow-ups, make sure that if you have a customer that's ordered, it's okay to reach out and ask them, what did you think? Is there anything I can help you with? Was there something else you wanted to try? Because, again, customer service is huge. You want people to come back to you. You don't want them to just go buy Posh from somebody else. You want them to come back to you. Yeah. And then let's see. Okay, yeah, so that is, make sure that you guys are doing, looking at the recruiting exclusives, splurge of the month, starter kits of the month. So if you're keeping a calendar, make sure that you have that stuff like penciled in, like the splurge of month, the third Thursday of every month. Make sure that you have that ready to go. Okay, and then let me see now. All right, so that was kind of my big thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, was consistency, because a lot of people have I think that's one of the hardest things that we have, that people have a hard time kind of grasping, is how to be consistent. Because if they're especially if you're new and you're starting, which a lot of you guys are, it is daunting. You don't know what you should be doing. You don't know how to do anything yet, right? So make it simple. Just plan out maybe a week or a couple days. If you have a day off and you have, an hour to spare, what do you think what is something that you can be doing that would benefit you and your business? Is it checking out the Prep Academy? Is it ordering business supplies? Like, maybe you're out of stuff, maybe you need to spend some time reading through the catalog, familiarizing yourself with product, making samples. The Power Hour is a really great way to do a lot of this stuff, which is something that Lori puts on first Wednesday of every month. And so if you guys get a chance, be sure to join that event and kind of look at how she does it and how she organizes it. And then you guys can do your own Power Hour in your own time as well. But your system doesn't have to be like super complex. It doesn't have to be this action calendar where you look at it and most of it is just too overwhelming. You can just go through and think and pick the top priority, the top like 3 things that you think that are important that you get done that week or that day, right? For newbies, I recommend checking out the Prep Academy, because a lot of the information that you guys, a lot of questions that people have can be answered in the Prep Academy. And the videos are really short, so it's not like you're committing, an hour of your time to one section of the Prep Academy. Read through your polka dotted guide. If you've been around for a little while and you are trying to get back into the business, check out the PDF copy of the polka dot guide and read through that, because that has tons of information as well. It's like the Prep Academy in booklet form. And then make sure that you guys are, connected to your sponsor, connected to your upline, connected to your premier. It could be anybody, or connected to just some Posh person that you happen to get along with. That's okay. Like, we're not like team snobs. You don't just have to stick with your team. You can kind of just, whoever you connect with and you want to work with, that is okay. That is totally fine. And anything that you can do to basically kind of help keep you motivated and excited and continuing with this is something that I definitely recommend. You don't want to put too much effort into things that are going to bring your business down, that are going to bring you down, that are going to make you feel overwhelmed. For example, we talk a lot about VIP groups and business pages and social media in general. If social media freaks you out, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to do social media. I personally, again, would recommend it, but you don't have to have a Facebook and a Twitter and an Instagram and a Snapchat and like everything. Pick one thing that you might already be using, like Facebook, and try that out. Try out a business page, try out a VIP group, doesn't have to be both, pick one, and just try it out. And then slowly add to your habit, right? Your list of things that you want to try doing. If you and I'm just coming up with random examples, but like if you want to do a sample of the month club, but the idea of sending out a sample every month to a bunch of people freaks you out, that's okay. You don't necessarily have to commit to something like that. You could just like post in your group and be like, hey guys, I have X amount of this sample. The first, how many people, who comment on this post, claim it, that's, you can do that. And you don't have to necessarily have a schedule, especially if it just overwhelms you to have like all these things in your calendar. I just really want to make sure that you guys know that this business can be anything you guys want it to be. You can run it any way that you guys want to. There's been plenty of successful Posh people who have done it in different ways. They, there are some people are straight home parties, who've never done anything else. There are some people who've only ever done online parties. They've never even like had a home party. Other people sell like mainly online and through their, social media accounts. Like that's how they've gained customers. Whatever you guys do, just try it out. If it doesn't work, that's okay. It's a learning experience. Everything is. And then, so basically, hopefully, whatever you guys are doing, make whatever that is working for you, keep that. And then maybe try something else, or if you've got a really good handle on these things that you're doing, maybe add something else that you've been wanting to try. Like I said, like maybe you've got a handle on something and you decide, hey, I want to send out X amount of recruiting packets each month. So add that to your list. Make sure that you are, you slowly build up your habits and your different goals and actions that you want to reach. Yeah, I think that kind of covers it. Yeah, I think, okay. Yeah, so if you guys have any questions, you can always post on the team page. Krista, do you have anything to add on this topic?
I did start using the calendars that they gave us the day away.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed when I looked at the action plan, I have some of those things on mine now, but definitely not all of them because I am one of those people who will get overwhelmed with something that big, that much. But something that I've been really bad about is follow up. So now I have follow up Mondays, and I'm going to do that like 1 week at a time of orders. So like this week's follow-up Monday was for the orders between the 10th and the 16th. I sent out emails to everyone who ordered at that time. And so then next week it'll be everyone who ordered through the other times. And yeah, so because otherwise I get like, oh, there's just too many people, there's too many orders. And like even a couple weeks ago, I went all the way back to when I first started, and that was like 6 months ago for people who don't know. 7 actually. And I went through and emailed like everybody, and so that took a while. But now that I have it once a week, it's not as daunting to keep up with it. But then I also started doing like different colors on my calendar for different things. Like my pen is a different color. But I would just say what you're comfortable with is where you should be. But you also need, once you're actually comfortable, you need to push one more and get a little bit uncomfortable. And then once that's comfortable, then you can push a little bit more. And that way you can build up what you're doing and how you're doing it in a way that is not overwhelming.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, like the action calendar, you look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things. And I have to think that if you were to like print that out, just take like a big Sharpie and like go through the things you're like, I'm not even going to think about this right now, because I'm definitely somebody that if I look at the big picture, I like freak out and then I shut down and I don't think about it.
Yes, I do that too. So, but yeah, I mean, and honestly, while all of those things are probably good things to be doing, I also don't feel like all of them are necessary, or all of them are necessary as often as it says they are. Like, for me, I don't get a lot of new people in my group all the time. So sharing my why every single month is probably not productive. All these people have already seen it. They don't care anymore. And so maybe once every 3 months in my group would be enough. And so that's another thing you have to look at is what does your customer base look like and how quickly or not quickly is it expanding, and go with that, because otherwise you're going to burn people out on information. They're going to be like, I already know this. And they're going to end up like turning off notifications for your group or unfollowing so they only see when they go there. And I don't want that to happen for me.
Yeah.
So I don't like to be too spammy with things that I feel like they already know.
Yeah, and I think that if you have a good relationship with all of your customers, they should know what your why is. Like,
Exactly.
if you have your why, you should have sent them out. Like, everybody should have copies of your why, because you should have sent them out with your samples or something. Like they should have seen it at some more than once.
Or another idea would be, if you do have a VIP group, make your why part of your pinned post. That way it's always at the top of the page whenever they go to your group. And so they see it, but it's not something that's popping up in their feed all the time.
Yeah.
And so then it's accessible, but it's not in their face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like you're right. Like, I think it just depends on your customer base and how you run your business. Like, and then but my thoughts are, when you're sharing your why, you don't necessarily have to put it in your VIP group. It could just be like you sent out one recruiting packet with your why in it each month.
That's true.
That's okay. Or you made a video about it or something, something like, you can variations of it where you did something about with your why.
There's also almost, I don't want to say sneaky, but in a way it kind of is. There's like kind of sneaky ways to do it too, where you're not actually saying this is my why, but like, say I used the perk stick today and I post a picture of that and I'm like, oh my God, this is one of the things that makes buying Posh worth it for me. I totally got rid of my headache with this stick. That's a part of your why, but you're not like being all, hey guys, this is why I do this.
Yeah.
So you're more sharing as opposed to reiterating something that has already been said over and over. So there are other ways to throw in bits and pieces of your why, maybe even more often than once a month, without actually making it look like that's what you're doing.
But when you're saying that, like, I'm glad you brought that up, but the whole thing of that is that you're keeping your posts personal. Like, that is the biggest thing. Like, if I could have like a giant sign that says like keep it personal, like, don't just post a generic graphic and be like, this is awesome, or I love this, but why? No one, like, people are just going to skim right through that. They're not going to look at it. You have to be like, why? You know what I mean? Like, I look at it, I'm like,
And
why?
you have to be you. Like today with the $5 chunk sale, you know what I did? I put up the graphic that they gave us, and then I was like, $5 chunks? Say what? Like, that's it. That's who I am. That's what I would say if you were my friend sitting right in front of me. It's nothing like super professional or whatever, but that's what went up. That's what went up in my group and my business page. What? Like, this is crazy. $5 chunks. So, I mean, yeah, as long as you're being you, I think that that's the important part. I'm not a super professional person. I mean, we're in a business meeting and I'm here in my tank top and my jammy pants and my hair is crazy. This is who I am. I am that person.
Well, there's a difference between
with Posh too.
There's a difference between being like inappropriate and then, like, personal, right? Like, there's sometimes you're like, oh, okay, that's just not right. Like, you should not be posting that. But most of the time it's just you're being more personal and you're being genuine.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay. I'm like, what were we just talking about? Okay. Um, yeah, no, I think that's kind of one of my biggest pet peeves is when I see people post something really generic. I'm always like, but why? Why? And I like don't like, but if I don't care about it, I wouldn't ask them why. Do you know what I mean? So like majority of your friends, if they don't know what it is that you're posting about, they're not going to ask any questions about it. You need to give them a reason to like want to know more.
Yeah. Well, honestly, something I've noticed with my groups is the posts that I put up that are more like I'm trying to be professional, they get so less traffic on them. Whereas, like, my say what post today, I actually had several people interact, and my group has been dead, like, super dead. Like, nobody cares. But that one, I actually had people like, hey, I want to talk about this a little bit. Like, I was like, oh, that's cool. But I think that's where being genuine to who you are is important. If you come off to people who know you as somebody that they're like, that's not how you act, that's not how you talk, then they're gonna think it's all about sales, and that gets rid of the whole personal aspect that we're supposed to have here, and that's not cool. So
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna stick around for a minute after this, but I'm just gonna end this recording.
okay.
So basically, the whole point of this is that look through the action calendar, make sure that you guys are doing things that you're comfortable with, but then also don't be afraid to do something that you're not comfortable with. Even if it's just adding one little thing each month, whatever, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. You can try one new thing and see if it works for you. All right. So let me end this. If you guys have any questions, be sure to post on the team page. Thanks, guys.